Hello, welcome to my 40th Triple Three Cybersecurity Roundup. Yes, it's been 40 weeks and it's been 40 episodes plus a few other ancillary updates that I've been providing. My name is Clinton Walker and thank you for your support over the past weeks, months as well in terms of me delivering these value and insights to you. In this week's episode, I'll be covering 2 breaches, 2 sets of countermeasures, and another announcement of my newsletter that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Now, the first breach I want to talk about is this one, which is called 7-Eleven, a very popular chain in America, and they have other branches across the world as well, and they do franchising. So their systems were breached by the ShinnyHunters hacking group, and it is said that they've basically compromised the franchise management system, which hosts and manage all the application process and onboarding process for the franchisees who are buying into their business model. Now, ShinnyHunters reached out to them to say, hey, we've compromised your system and we want to do a deal. And the campaign extortion that they've launched is called Pay or We Leak. Now, this didn't happen, and so they decided to leak this information. They said that they've compromised the franchise system, they've compromised the names, address, telephone number, and all the related documents as it relates to franchisees and their onboarding process to become a franchise of this company. Now, 7-Eleven has hundreds of stores across the US and other countries, so they're a well-known brand. And here you can see where the reputational damage could kick in. You could see where downstream compromise of franchisees and any other entities linked to them could really come into play, because they could also conduct phishing attack on these franchisees as well as any employees and colleagues within those businesses, because they've got the email addresses. They could also do what's called smishing, which is SMS texts to help to kind of really fool people into clicking on links to compromise their devices as well. So on Vision, they could bring them up as well over the phone to pretend to be someone that they're not. So what are some of the countermeasures that could be put in place here? Well, for these guys, they could have locked down third-party access and make sure that MFA, multi-factor authentication, is enabled on all interfaces that users actually use to log into the system and verify their identity. Make sure that internal admin tools and CRM platforms are adequately secure, and monitoring and alerting are implemented to look at anomalies in access controls and access to resources. Now, the fact that they may have gained legitimate credentials, username and passwords to the system, them using that to log in will not necessarily raise red flags unless they've decided to exfiltrate data or files or go onto certain system that would raise certain alarms. So do regular review on access controls and people's use of network and access to resources. Tighten vendor franchise security controls. So again, review access control, use least privilege methodology and approach and technique. So that what that means, it means only give access at a bare minimum to people enough for them to do the job that they were hired to do. Then if they need more access to do maybe an extended version of the job or increase their scope, you can give them another layer of access. So only give access that is necessary and required. Make sure that you segment records from the core business, core records, because typically once a franchisor or a franchisee goes into contract, there are certain documentation that gets filed and stored, separately. Keep those separate and not used as part of your day-to-day running and monitoring of the franchise. In some cases, it might be tricky to do. Those are some of the countermeasures for this particular one with 7-Eleven. Now, the next one is going to be a very interesting one, because it is a hacking group by the name of the Gentleman's Ransomware Gang. Yes, it's a ransomware gang that was also breached. Can you imagine that? They are setting up a service, ransomware as a service, to help other malicious users to buy that service to launch an attack on another entity or another business, but they themselves have been hacked. They've only been in operations, apparently based on my research, 2004, 2005, and that's where they started that ransomware as a service. It is said that the checkpoint researcher were able to get insight into their internal network and internal operating procedures and systems. So they managed to see the tools that were used to track victims, the tools that they used to do their reconnaissance, and the tool that they used to actually launch an attack, including all the affiliate tooling and the affiliate details. And it's also said that they've got over 1,000, they managed to see or discover over 1,570 entities that could be targets or used as targets to propagate attack and ransomware across different countries and different business industries. Now imagine an attacker gets attacked. How did that work? For me, that's very intriguing. You hardly hear about that one. It's a reverse aspect there as well. So what are some of the countermeasures here? And I'm not necessarily giving them advice, but in a typical setup as a business, make sure that you segregate internal systems from any attack infrastructure. So these guys, they could have separated their attack tools and their systems from their normal operations of what they do internally within their business, so as to protect and isolate key systems. They could protect internal communication and files so that they could encrypt that. They could encrypt the files, encrypt the documents, encrypt the chats that they have and any notes, so that they limit the blast radius and the exposure if their system were to be compromised, which they have. Monitor insider credentials. Compromise, again, is similar to what I mentioned earlier. So not because someone may log on or some entity may have logged on legitimately, it means that it is actually that person who is the right person who's using that credential. So check for anomaly in attack chains, and also check for anomalies in their behaviors, what they access, where they access from, whether that be overseas, out of a time zone, etc., and look for those anomalies in their attack. That's the update this week. I definitely found that particular one, the gentleman's ransomware, very interesting. Remember to follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to us on YouTube, and please, my announcement is I'll be launching my newsletter in the next couple of weeks, and I would love to get some subscription from you guys who have been supporting me forever, because I'll be providing more value and more direct value to you. So you'll be getting templates, you'll be getting know-hows, you'll be getting gap analysis templates, for example, webinars, one-on-ones, and I'll load that into my other offer that will be coming in the next couple of weeks. But I look forward to getting you to sign up to my newsletter, and I'll share a link here for you to follow to make sure that you get that link to sign up and subscribe as an early adopter. That's it for my weekly update. Again, have a great weekend, and thank you as always for my weekly cybersecurity roundup support that you've been providing for over 40 plus weeks. Have a great weekend. Bye.